Hello everyone! Welcome back. Just had to check if my neighbors are here and watching me. They aren't. Today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie tag, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a tag for people that are new on Booktube. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into the first question. And that is, why did you start this channel? I have taken notes. Okay, I'm a professional now. The number one reason I think is that I just wanted an outlet for my thoughts and kind of someone to talk back to me, because I do talk a lot about the books I read in my real life, just nobody cares. So I just want people to be talking back to me and like actually be interested in what I have to say, I guess. The second reason is that I just finished high school. Uni won't start until like the beginning of October. So I have a lot of free time on my hands and I just want to do something with it. And also I just always wanted a YouTube channel. Like back when I was like 13, I'm watching a lot of beauty YouTubers that wanted a beauty channel. Like I just always wanted a YouTube channel and I was just too scared to actually upload something. But you know what? I was like, I really do need a hobby. Let's just do this. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? And honestly, I've thought about this. I don't have that much to offer. Like, I'm just a girl standing in front of a camera. um, One thing that I find is that just when I watch Booktube, I oftentimes have opinions that I don't think anyone else seems to be having. Like in my last video, I had this whole rant about the infernal devices. And that is what was, for example, something that I'd never heard before. And I just feel like, I want to diversify the available opinions on Booktube. And I feel like I'm in position to do that. And also, I really like classics and I read a lot of classics. And I feel like the booktubers that focus on classics is still very limited. Obviously there are quite a lot. It's like been increasing overall. Booktube has grown as a community a lot in the past few years, but I still think they are rather rare. And I also feel like I might just not be the typical person you would expect to be reading a lot of classics, especially not in English, because English isn't my native language. um and I just want to like kind of broaden the status quo on who can read classics, I guess. Yeah. What are you most excited about for this new channel? Um, Again, just letting the thoughts out, being able to actually have discussions, hopefully, if anyone ever ends up on these videos. Um, and also just capturing how I feel about certain books. I hope to be doing reading vlogs in the future, and I just think that, like, imagine I'm reading like a favorite book of mine for the first time, and I get to film that and see like my thoughts and reactions like as I go. I just think that that is such a valuable experience, and I'm really hoping that through Booktube and through filming myself, I'm able to capture these memories. And question 4 is, why do you love reading? I love reading because it makes me understand the world around me. Like, I mostly read because I feel like every single time I pick up a book, I'm learning something, either about words, about language, but also just about how the world and the people around me just function. And it's honestly like the way that I'm learning about the world and the people around me through books is something that is unmatched by any other medium, in my opinion. So that is like the number one thing for me. I also personally just like writing a lot. I'm not very good at it, I'm not going to lie to you. And I mostly write fan fiction, also not going to lie to you. But I really love writing, and I feel like with every book that I pick up, I learn something new about writing, and that is also just such a valuable experience, in my opinion. What book or series got you into reading? I didn't really have that. I wasn't always a big reader. Like, I just gotten into reading in 2020. At the end of 2019, I made the active choice, hey, I want to read more books in 2020. And I don't know how, because this is the first time that any of my goals has ever stuck with me, but I did continue to read a lot. And so reading was really an active choice, and there wasn't like one book or series to draw me in. That being said, when I was young, I did have like one book series that I was completely obsessed about. I can't show you because the camera is currently standing on it, but it was the Ruby Red series by Kerstin Gier, which if you were a teenager in Germany, a female teenager specifically, in like 2015 to 2017, you have read these books, you were in love with Gideon de Villiers, and you should reread them because they're still like 100% entertainment, although they are slightly problematic looking back. I loved these books. I devoured them within days. When I finished the second book, I didn't have the third book on hand and I cried because I couldn't continue, okay? I was dramatic as a child. I love those books, but after them, I picked up a few other books, but nothing like felt similar to the reading experience. So eventually I just stopped and accepted the fact that nothing would ever live up to these books. And in a way, nothing ever has, because I've never felt this obsessed and involved in a book series ever since. Number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I find this question kind of weird. I would probably either I would ask them, hey, can we please be friends and go book shopping together? Like, that would be amazing, thank you. In terms of like YouTube and content and stuff, like, how do you find relevant content? Because I feel like a lot of the content that booktubers put out is not irrelevant, but it's not content where I'm like, oh my god, in 10 years people are still going to watch and enjoy this. Like, if I'm putting up a summer TBR right now, in 10 years nobody's going to care what I wanted to read in summer 2020. So how do you find content that will stay relevant? Because most of the booktubers that I watch are A, very big booktubers, and B, I find that their content holds up so well and is so entertaining even years after they've actually posted it. Yeah, I would just like some advice on how they do that. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think most likely just creative stuff, like what kind of video should I film? How should I edit the video? Like, is what I'm doing in front of the camera entertaining enough, and all of that stuff? And also just video editing. I have a hard time editing. I have a very slow computer, and my editing software and my computer, they are not best friends, okay? They fight a lot and it's kind of exhausting, I'm not going to lie. Also, just being consistent with it. I started this channel because I needed a hobby, and I'm afraid that once like this first excitement kind of wears out, I won't care to continue with the channel, which I think is very sad, because I think that even if nobody else out there cares, like for me personally, it would be very interesting to look back to these videos in like 5 years time or 10 years time or whatever. When did you start reading? So again, I started reading in 2020, like New Year's Eve. I set a Goodreads challenge for 2020 and then I just went for it. The 9th question is, where do you read? So in my room I have my bed where I often read, then I have a chair, like an armchair, where I sit and read a lot. But I personally love to read outside. Like, to me there's just nothing more relaxing and just soothing to the soul than sitting in the sun and reading. What kind of books do you like to read? I mostly read classics. I also like to read YA contemporary, but classics have to be my favorite kind. That was also actually a goal when I started reading. I was just like, I want to read more classics, because again, I started to read because I wanted to learn about the world around me. And for one, classics are just referenced a lot, like even in modern pop culture and everything. you know, but also in other pieces of literature. So that was one of the reasons. And also classics are obviously books that stayed relevant over like decades upon decades, and I just wanted to see why and how that came to be. I also like to read YA contemporary a lot. My favorite author, or one of my favorite authors, is probably Alice Oseman. I love her. I haven't seen the Heartstopper series yet. I also haven't read Heartstopper, but I've read 3 of her other novels, and amazing, show-stopping, never been done before. I really love her books to pieces. So I really like YA contemporary. I also read a lot of YA fantasy. I guess just because I feel pressure to. Like, I read old Percy Jackson, I read the Lunar Chronicles, I read a lot of Harry Potter, I read The Infernal Devices, I'm currently reading Crooked Kingdom, so I read that a lot, but it's not really my favorite genre, and I don't really know why I keep picking books up in the genre. Like, I don't hate them, but I also don't love them, so. And then the 11th question is, what does your book collection look like? And for that, I'm just going to insert a clip right here. You can just have a look yourself and judge for yourself how you feel about my book collection. And that being said, that was the very last question. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give me a like, give me a subscription, you know, be a little out there, do something fancy, funky, if you will, today. And I will hopefully see you all in my next video. Bye.